New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
This is What's Up and Why, bringing you the bright side of life, one fun moment at a time. Brought to you by the New Thought Media Network. Please put your hands together for your hosts, Rev KC Taylor and Miss B.Lovely.
Hey,
Reunited, and it feels so good.
So good. My name is Reverend KC Taylor. I use they, them pronouns.
I'm B.Lovely. I use she, her pronouns. And this is What's Up and Why.
Hey.
Back from summer break. School is back in session, as it says in our title today.
Yes, and school is back in session, summer break, and I dipped out. I pieced out over text, kind of like quit this job. Didn't mean to. It was really in a moment when we recorded the show, the last time that we recorded the show together in person in Chicago. I think either I had found out that I had information that I found out that I've already started this new job. But what I didn't know at that time was that was going to be my last show, because I didn't know the start date was going to be the moment that I arrived. So I had no time to, generally when somebody starts a new job, I worked my last day on a Monday and started a new job on the Tuesday. So
no break.
No break. But here I am right now in Dallas right now, and taking a much needed break, because my summer has been a bit of a runaway train in all of the best ways. I'm grateful.
How is your runaway train? A runaway train, kind of sounds destructive, off the tracks.
It does, but like it was going in it's kind of like, how in a cartoon when they're like in one of those like roller coaster cars and it goes off the track, but it like follows the hill.
Mm-hmm.
It was a whole adventure. It was a whole adventure, and I was not the least bit scared. I'm grateful.
That's nice.
Grateful to say.
Yes. Well, I guess you can say like I understand what you're talking about, where you're saying like you feel like your summer's been like a runaway train, because I feel like I don't have any control over what's going on. When it comes to like my work, like the load has been increasing astronomically. I'm preparing to leave for my fellowship in Germany in a couple of weeks. So I'm like trying to do that, trying to stay on top of German news and everything for the fellowship and networking, and also trying to balance, keeping the cortisol low, meditating, getting in fitness, trying to keep up with all of my relationships. So I definitely feel like I've been tapped out a lot these past couple of weeks.
I hear you.
To the point where I've been staying, like even one of my friends had pointed this out. I rarely ever stay home. I'm always out and about. These past 2 weekends, I've been in the house, just doing nothing, watching childhood cartoons, relaxing, and just giving myself a moment to breathe, because it just feels like everything is like choking.
Heard. Well, I'm grateful that you get to go to Germany and step out of all of the things that you were in, that you get to live this great adventure when you're kind of coming to a feeling of burnout and know that you've got some great adventure ahead. That's got to bring some peace. And I'm curious, B.Lovely, if you've made some space before and after your great Germany adventure to decompress, to prepare to get back into your world.
Yeah. So before I took off some time before and after the trip. So before, perfect, that gives me time to like get everything together. I'm treating myself to a Bryson Tiller concert, because I love Bryson Tiller. So I get to see that the day before I leave. And then when I come back, I had some time off so I can just relax, do nothing, and like get back into the swing of things. Because I know that jet lag is going to be something to deal with on my body. And I'm not trying to put my body through no more unnecessary stress.
Yes, yes, yes. And I don't know how your flight situation works, but I may have shared that when I went to Asia, I did not experience jet lag. It was a difference of a day and a half, and it had everything to do with my flight times of leaving at night and landing in the daytime, landing in the morning. It really didn't matter. One flight when I landed in the Philippines was 4 a.m., so that's kind of daytime.
Yeah.
And the other flight was in LA at like 1:30 in the afternoon. But like just leaving at night for me, that was the key because I slept most of it and my body was
Yes. That is the key for international trips because I did that last time I've flown internationally. I'm doing it this time. They booked me for like a red eye. So
yep, that's how you
I
do
get to
it.
sleep, have my little layover in Iceland, and then continue on to Germany. I'm really excited about this because
I
I
read
was so obsessed with German history and World War II when I was in 7th and 8th grade. That was when I first got introduced to the Diary of Anne Frank. And I was reading it. And I was like, let me learn more about this war that made this girl have to go into hiding for all these years. So I walked to the public library, 7th grade, went to the librarian, asked for all the books for World War II, and dove right in. Not something your average 7th grader would just do in their spare time just because they found something interesting. But
Yeah, I
that's me.
mean, absolutely, absolutely. I think I was introduced to that book when I was going to say when I was 10, but it wasn't. I know I've never read that book. The book that I read when I was 10 was called Number the Stars by Lois Lowry. That was it was a fictionalized book of a little girl that lived during that era. And it did not inspire a deep dive into World War II history. Like, just like every other American, I've had opportunities to take that deep dive and I have not felt that call. So I'm grateful that you've been gifted this opportunity. You put in the work, applied for this fellowship and gifted the opportunity to have this great adventure. And I'm grateful that it's coming at a time that it sounds like you could really use it.
Yes, I could. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also looking forward to hear, what's been up with you? You got the new job, you're in a new city.
I'm just current right now. I'm chilling in a new city. I'm kicking it in a new city. I did not move. Me in Oklahoma City still repping it.
Clarify. Gotta
homies,
clarify.
Me in Oklahoma City. I'm not going anywhere, and that's really a big part of it. Is that I really love my experience with the spiritual center, and I really love my new job is teaching employment skills to youth, and this is it's a brand new program in the shelter where I've been serving for 5 years. So to have that first cohort of youth and for me to know them all really well gave me an opportunity to I feel like I got to really deepen beyond the curriculum. And originally I didn't have to teach anything originally. Still, I haven't had to teach anything. They hired some consultants to do it. So I'm just kind of like hanging out in the background, watching the consultants do their thing and available to like answer questions or ask questions, give them my feedback. And so because I'm like hanging out in the back of the room, the youth were just kind of coming to me like, hey, read my resume. Hey, do this mock interview with me. And to kind of kick off this program in a way where the consultants get to have somebody in the room that has that relationship with the rapport with the youth, that I'm not the one teaching the content or doing any things. I'm just the observer. So they get to decide whether they want to come to me and what they want to work on with me. And right after we did 2 weeks of that program, right after I went straight to the Celebrating Our Soul conference, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later in the show because I'm giving reverence to why don't I do it now?
Let's go ahead.
Let's go ahead and give reverence to the people of African descent New Thought Group that put on the Celebrating Our Soul conference. It happens every 2 years, so they've already got the date set. It's usually, and this time, no exception, the second weekend of August every 2 years. So it's going to be in 2028. So now is the time to get this on your calendar. If in the new thought world of any regard, centers of spiritual living, unity, they all come together and really honor the history of Black folks in New Thought, honor the history and modern day experience of Black folks in New Thought. So what I love about it is it's centering Black folks. It's not for Black folks. It is a celebration of people of African descent. So that experience of people who are not of African descent showing up and getting some education and honestly, like giving service, doing a lot. And I was in the youth village and had some people who are not of African descent that were serving as volunteers on our team. And it was so valuable in the sense that they were so committed that their whole intention was supporting people of African descent to take the emotional labor off of our shoulders, to give us space, to get some spiritual food, like they were like, we're here to serve. And that experience of having Black voices centered, for it to be just this 4-day, just really incredible experience. And for me, what's really interesting about a Black conference versus a non-Black conference is the vibes. And like, we know this, like the energy of being in a Black space versus a non-Black space, it's a very different vibe. And something about the organization of it that was a really big wake-up call for me, because I've been what service has looked like for me as an attendee the first 2 times that I went was I had a car, because Oklahoma City is 5 hours from Kansas City. So I had a car, and anybody who like had a walker or some mobility challenges, when I would roll up, like I would just like come roll up, park the car. Somebody would say, oh, I need to get over here. Would you give me a ride? Oh, of course. Like I will absolutely. You got a workshop, you got a thing you got to get to. I'm going to take you to where you want to go. So the first 2, I just found myself just driving people wherever they need to go. I was driving Miss Daisy at this conference. And this time was no exception. Despite the fact that I was in Youth Village, I still had a car. People still needed rides.
You were helping people.
That's what it is, being in service. And I'm grateful that I didn't formally sign up to be a volunteer, but I found ways to serve and contribute. But now that I've been behind the scenes, what's been interesting for me about, and I can't say this about all Black spaces, but it's just been my experience in a variety of Black spaces, is that it's intended to be spirit-led. So we might have scheduled this, but like in reality, spirit pulled you over here, or we got to move. So the whole thing is like a pivot. The whole thing is like a pivot. And in certain spaces, like that would drive people crazy. But in predominantly Black spaces, I've learned Black folks used to operating like this. So it's like, that the whole concept of CPT time, I think that CP time, I should say.
Let's say, what are you talking about?
It comes with this like stigma that there's something wrong with Black folks because they show up when they show up. And in reality, it's island time. It's moving on spirit's time and not clock time, not culture's time. It's spirit has moved me here. This is where I'm meant to be. This is, I got held up. I had a conversation with somebody. I was inspired. I was feeling blessed. And so the person who might have volunteered to show up at this thing isn't there, but somebody else, I could just grab somebody else. And so it's just this whole thing of like being in community, being in flow, not being in judgment about the fact that things aren't starting when somebody expected it to, or people aren't.
Like taking it more easy, like taking it easy, basically.
Yes, like in flow, on chill mode. So it's both a turn up and it's on chill mode at the same time. So I had a ball.
It was good vibes.
Yes. The vibes alone. But this was my first time that I didn't, because I was in the youth village, I didn't get an opportunity to engage with the content that wasn't specifically for the youth. And I was doing a lot of things too. Like we had a field trip where we went to the Jazz Museum, the Negro Baseball Museum, which are both in the same building, and the Black Archives, which is across the street from there. So we took a bus full of people, and I was responsible for like in charge of the people, getting them to the places, getting the tickets, and getting them all lunches, and having everybody's dietary restriction of like, you got the lunch that meets your dietary restriction. And then all kinds of other things. Like some lady was like, I lost my wallet. Like, and so I'm just the person who she's going to. Turns out it was in her bra the whole time. And I'm grateful that she had no problem after like making a whole fuss and trying. I was like, I really don't know what to do. I'm here quite trying
How do you not feel it in your bra?
I'm glad I don't know her name. So like I don't even she wasn't even like
blessings to that lady. We're gonna send her some positive energy, but not
Yes,
knowing
yes.
and not feeling that your wallet is in your bra.
Again,
I'm gonna give her some grace.
You know, like making calls, trying to figure out, go on a hunt to retracing her steps, and it was in her bra her whole time.
That happens sometimes because there's been times when I've gone off to look for something and it's been in my hand or in my hair. Something like, oh, okay.
Yep. So I mean, even my field trip roster was changed dramatically the day before, and I was like, I'm not even gonna mess with it. Like, I don't know who any of these people are, and I don't know how they got here, and that's just what it is. And then, you know, the day of, I'm reading the names, whole bunch of those names not even there. I'm like, oh, you know, you just gotta roll with it. So I did the best that I could, and everybody had a good time, and that's what's important. Everybody had a good time. The youth had a good time. The youth were great with the pivot. The youth and the parents. The fact that the youth and the parents were the easiest part, because usually in a youth experience, like you've got youth that are like, you know, she hit me, or, you know, things like that. Like we were all together in one space, the whole all ages situation from like 6 years old to 21. And they were all like peaceful and chill and smart. And their parents were like easy and like text you later, you know, like I'm not gonna come get the kid. Like everything was just chill. So it was a vibe, and I wholeheartedly recommend it in 2028, August of 2028.
Yes, well, if you want to learn more, the information is scrolling at the bottom of our screen, padntg.org. Get more information, because it sounds like that was a very soul fulfilling time, and
Absolutely.
You know, as a human being, like a fun experience.
Yes, it's called Celebrating Our Soul for a reason. That is the name of this conference, and
I know,
it
that's
fits.
right. Well, I know, speaking of celebrating our souls, something that's celebrating some soul is the historic show, A Different World. The first trailer debuted this week, and so many familiar faces. Was it Dwayne and Whitley come back? Debbie Allen actually has an acting role, because she was originally on the show, the original series that ran from 1987 to like 1993. She was on as a writer. She's going to be in it. Your friend Don Lewis is going to be reprising her role with Jalissa.
Yes.
Ron, Kim, Jada Pinkett Smith, all reprising their roles. It looks like it's going to be a real fun show, and I'm definitely going to be checking it out.
I'm excited for it. And I told you, I may have mentioned this before, Felicia Pride, the showrunner of the reboot. I am personally a big fan of her as a writer. I'm a big fan of her as a person. She has this podcast called Honey Chow. She's about my age. She's queer. So like, and just like a different world baby, you know, just has so much love and respect for the show. And I knew this about her before she got the opportunity to get this role. So I'm grateful to trust and know that she is doing this reboot justice, and I'm excited.
It looks like it, but we are going to see when it drops on Netflix September 24th. That's going to be here before we know it, in a month, basically. Something ironic, it's dropping the same exact day that the original show had debuted. How ironic is that? In our next segment, Do Better Blues, I want to talk about the response that's been going on with the passing of a beloved actress, Hayden Panettiere. So this past Sunday, it was announced that she had some type of medical emergency at a home in South Carolina, and sadly she passed. She was only 36 years old. Her 37th birthday is actually Friday, the 21st, which is very, very sad. And there's been a lot that's been surrounding the death, because she's a very beloved actress. Like, she did a voiceover in A Bug's Life. She was in Remember the Titans, a Black classic movie, Bring It On, All or Nothing, alongside Solange Knowles, Ice Princess. Scream Queen in the most recent Scream movies, and she was in the show Nashville and Heroes.
Yeah,
So
I was such a big fan of Heroes. I loved Heroes. And also something that people don't really know about. It's such a like small thing, but like her is a real person. There was this documentary called The Cove that was about how dolphin were being slaughtered in Japan. And she like did this, like she was a part of this like in the documentary where because it was about this, and she was one of the people that like got in a boat and was like actively protesting and trying to save the dolphin. And it was such like nobody that movie was never like a big deal. The whole point was to like bring visibility to what was going on at the time. And like her role in it, like she didn't produce the documentary. She just happened to be there like in Japan while they were shooting, because this was a situation she really cared about.
Yeah, she upon her death, there was a lot coming out online like about her activism like that, her activism with protecting the oceans, her activism even coming to DC to fight for DC to become a state. Like there's videos and stuff of her actively like protesting and stuff for those type of things. So definitely a well-rounded, beautiful woman, but let people grieve the way how they want. There's a lot of negative Nancy's online that I've been seeing saying, oh, you guys weren't really talking about or thinking about Hayden Panettiere until her passing. And it's like, well, just because folks aren't actively talking about it right then and there, if it's not a trending moment, doesn't take away the fact that people may have some type of connection with an artist because of the art that they've produced or the work that they do in the world. When your work impacts people, whenever something happens to you, when they think of you and stuff, you know, that's going to come out. So hearing about the passing of somebody that has done a lot of work since she was a child, like she's been working since she was 11 months old. So she's been everywhere on ads. She was a spokesperson for Neutrogena and all that stuff. So she's been around. There's a lot of people who, yeah, just because they weren't talking about it actively every single day on social media doesn't take away the fact that this person was impactful or made an impact or a difference in their life, especially when it comes to art, movies, TV shows, people who grow up watching and connecting with characters and roles and stuff. That really resonates deeply. So yes, some people are going to be grieving like they lost somebody that they knew because they felt connected to that person through their work by how they made them feel.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. We do need to do better about how we talk about people who've passed and letting people grieve the way that they grieve. We live in a culture, specifically the American culture I'm speaking to, where bereavement is 3 days, that people are given 3 days to make the arrangements, associate. And we all know that, the heavy lifting involved with coordinating with the services of what to do with the body and insurance and all of that is more than 3 days worth of phone calls and all of that. And then you have, on top of that, there are the big feelings that come along with it. And our culture says you get 3 days to figure all that out, and we expect you to be back to work. So we need to do better as a culture around the ways in which that we handle grief and rest. And one of the reasons I'm saying that I'm happy in Oklahoma City is because the 2 full-time jobs I have, one of them comes with unlimited time off. The other one comes with 200 hours of PTO. So I was able to I'm taking a week off pretty much a month of
that's right.
time. Just, and they see the value of me being rested and figure it out where, oh, I just started this job and now I got to leave for 2 weeks right after I got here. They go figure it out. Because they understand and appreciate the value of rest. So I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. If you get this, we good. So
we need to stop judging people and talking mess about people.
Yes.
Let people do their own damn thing. Speaking of which, talking shit, talk to us about, day 5 of making peace with your inner shit talker.
That was such a great transition. Speaking of talking shit, many of us, I can't speak to all of us, many of us have this voice in our heads talking shit. And early on, I developed this 90-day program designed to help us make peace with that inner voice. And early on, the day 5 of the program is a section that's called God Shit. And the very first question of God Shit, I meant to have it handy. I'll pull it up. Thank you for putting it up the screen. What does God mean to you? As I have just come from this spiritual conference, God is big on my heart. So B.Lovely, I'd love to hear from you. What does God mean to you?
What does God mean to me? Safety, protection, divine direction, love. Love, honestly. All of that, and love is right on top and covers all of it.
That's a great answer. We start there's one of my favorite performers at United Life. Her name's Mia Tia. Every time she performs, I ask her to do Love on Top at the beginning. And what you just said about God being love on top, I'm gonna incorporate that in because we still gonna be opening with Beyonce. Favorite thing.
I
And
love that.
and so because we're intergenerational, there are some people who don't know Beyonce like I know Beyonce. So having the same song, starting with Love on Top every time, makes it so that the people who don't know Beyonce now know Love on Top. So I'm here for it. I love that. For me, and I love how you answered this question with qualities of God, because like this whole concept of God being such a big concept, right? That like those qualities aren't the only qualities of God, but that those are the qualities that this is what God means to you. These qualities of represent who God is. And I've really looked at the concept of defining God from a really scientific place, which is why Science of Mind is where I'm at, is a place that defines God as the energy of all of life. And that's always made me really comfortable of knowing that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred, recognizing all energy as spiritual energy. So and God is omnipresent. So recognizing, like for me, as I've read spiritual books, I feel like the lessons that are in those books is just about the use of energy, the intentional use of energy. So I see it from that scientific perspective, but I also see it from the love that cannot be defined scientifically. So I love that those were the words that you used.
Is what came out of my heart and what came to me initially, because those are all the things I just feel like God always provides for me, and what I feel whenever I'm in prayer or just recognizing how God has provided for me in life.
I love it. Love it. I'm here for it. Here for it.
So at home, reflect on that shit. What does God mean to you when you're on a walk? You know, when you're about to go to sleep, take a ponder on that. But this was great having you back here doing another episode of What's Up and Why, talking about all of, the things in life and how we can always, try to look to the bright side despite the circumstances.
Yes, yes. And because of my built-in rest, I have every intention to be here at least once a month to say hi and share a reflection question and talk about what's up and why.
Yay. Well, do you want to lead us out in prayer, or do you want me to?
Yeah, let me lead us out in prayer. I got my prayer with other shirt on, so I might as well represent. Inviting each one of us to take a moment to settle into our bodies and recognize the sacred energy of the breath itself, knowing that breath is what we all have in common, and that regardless of how we define spirit, whether we even believe in a concept of spirit, breath is what we have in common. And I'm grateful that that is something that we get to recognize as sacred, that we get to come together, that we bring our breath wherever it is that we go. And I'm grateful that B.Lovely and I have brought our energy to this series. Grateful to trust and know that it has inspired all of the right people, had the right and perfect impact, and grateful for the opportunity to join today, trusting and knowing that I will be back when the time is right, when spirit allows. And in gratitude, I invite us to close this prayer however we are most comfortable. I choose to close by saying, Ashe.
Amen. Thank you, Rev KC Taylor. And thank you at home for joining us for another episode of What's Up and Why, bringing you the bright side of life one fun moment at a time. I am B.Lovely.
And I am Rev KC Taylor. Have the best week ever.
Be well.